which is Karuppu movie. This movie is an absolute banger and must-watch theater experience. Completely go awestruck. Honestly, after watching this movie, my perception about Surya has completely changed. Hi everyone, today we are back with yet another review, which is Karuppu movie acted by Surya and the director is R.J. Balaji. He also has played this antagonist role in this movie. To be honest, this movie is an absolute banger and must-watch theater experience. Not just because I am a Surya fan, but this movie is an absolute banger for all the cinema lovers who would love to watch such a spectacle which has immense and intense visual sequences where you would completely go awestruck. Honestly, after watching this movie, my perception about Surya has completely changed from him being an actor to him being a performer. And when I say this, trust me, he became the performer in the climax sequence, and I couldn't just take my eyes off him, and I was just shocked to see him perform like that. The movie went through so many postponements, and to be honest, a lot of Surya fans were disappointed with the amount of time it needed to reach the actual theaters and to get released and play with ease. And someone who has been a Surya fan for years from my childhood, it was a bit emotional to see this movie going through so many issues before its release. I was constantly checking for updates. Even for my exams, I wouldn't have done such a thing where I would wake in the middle of the night to see if the producer has tweeted or the director has tweeted something saying that okay, this movie is going to be released tomorrow, because I didn't want to miss this at all, because I had wanted to watch a Surya movie. FTFS in Coimbatore, along with my friends who are also Surya fans. We are all die-hard Surya fans. So when the release got cancelled initially, it was a disappointment for all of us. And to be honest, after watching the movie, I felt no matter what the disappointments were, the movie was absolute banger and it was satisfactory to another level. And for Surya fans who has been wanting for Surya to have a very strong comeback and a commercial entertainer, and to see him perform in theatre with the crowd, this was absolute cinema for all the Surya fans.
First thing I really want to appreciate is the visuals because the movie would not have worked this way. Visuals, editing, music, and cinematography weren't perfectly aligned together. This is not just about director vision. A director can visualize something brilliantly in his head, but if the editor, DOP, music director, and the entire technical team don't understand the same emotion and same vision, then it won't reflect on screen. But here, everything felt synced, and visually, this movie is fantastic, especially the way Karpusami is shown. The visuals around Karpusami genuinely feel like something from another universe. Every frame involving Karuppu elevated the energy, and surprisingly, even though the Karpusami visuals are repeatedly shown throughout the movie, it never felt repetitive. Instead, every appearance hypes theater even more.
Now, coming to the concept, for those of you who don't know who Karupusami is a deity who protects village boundaries and also punishes the one who does wrongdoings.
Now, what this movie does beautifully is it takes that belief system and intersects it with the modern day world. And that's where the movie becomes interesting. Because there have been many stories where gods enter human worlds. But this movie modernizes this entire idea. The way the deity functions, reacts, and exists in this timeline feels fresh. But this movie modernizes that entire idea. And the way the deity functions, reacts, and exists in this timeline feels fresh. Now, coming to Surya, this is where the movie peaks. There are scenes where even the smallest cheek vibration or body movement from Surya changes the intensity of the scene. It genuinely feels like an acting lesson for aspiring actors. This movie heavily depends on body language, and there are multiple slow motion and elevation shots. There are scenes where his traps are highlighted, his quadriceps are exposed while running, his physics feels emphasized, and somehow I felt this aligned beautifully with Karpusami himself because Karpusami is often portrayed as a muscular, powerful deity. So I don't know if this was intentional detailing or coincidence, but visually it worked brilliantly. At the same time, Surya also balanced vulnerability really well. He wasn't just playing power, he balanced common man energy, helplessness, godlike intensity all together, and that balance is difficult. I genuinely feel RJ Balaji performed extremely well, not just direction wise. Even his screen presence worked. And what impressed me is how he balanced comedy, mythology, sarcasm, morality, and commercial entertainment without making the film collapse tonally. That balance is difficult. Now, coming to the humor was naturally integrated. It never felt forced. And the sarcasm throughout the movie actually worked really well with the audience. People were laughing genuinely, and there are many unexpected twists and surprise moments that first time viewers genuinely won't predict. The theater experience for those moments was fantastic. One thing I noticed visually, the movie feels strangely isolated. Most of the background characters are blurred out. The focus remains heavily on only a few central characters. Even the locations are limited. Court, hotel, and certain isolated places is all we get to see. Very few scenes actually feel connected to the larger outside world. The movie almost feels like it exists inside its own zone or universe. I don't know whether that was intentional cinematic language, but that was a feeling I constantly had while watching. Now, coming to the casting was brilliantly done because many actors already carry emotional familiarity from previous films through the characters they have played. We have already seen certain faces as villains, as comedy actors, as supporting characters. So, when they appear here, our brain instantly associates them with certain emotions. And that familiarity helps the audience connect much faster. But psychology worked well in this film. Now, yes, the movie is not perfect. There are small logical gaps. The first half is slightly moderate paced. Second half is where things fully explode with twists and elevation moments. But honestly, none of those issues affected the overall theatrical experience much. And one thing I really kept thinking after the film ended was not just about the deity, but about humans themselves. Because underneath all the entertainment, I felt the movie is actually questioning morality. Humans still need fear of law, fear of God, fear of punishment to behave ethically. And that thought stayed with me because ideally, integrity should come from our own conscience, not from fear of an external system. Now, this is my personal reflection from the movie. The movie itself speaks more about fearing wrongdoing and divine justice. But personally, what stayed with me was why do humans still need external fear to remain ethical? And honestly, that's why this movie worked for me. It gave hype, theater moments, visuals, and entertainment, but at the same time, it also left me reflective. Overall, this movie absolutely works for theater audience, for mass audience, and even later for OTT. And as a Surya fan, this felt satisfying not just because of hype, but because it genuinely felt like watching a performer at peak form.